And welcome back to the Emerging Growth Conference. Next up, we have OM Holdings International Inc. It trades on the OTC Pink sheets under the symbol OMHI and operates a mobile application delivery platform that provides an expedient, contactless option for the transportation of people and essential goods. Please welcome its CFO, Michael Robbins, its chairman and CEO, Mark Vanderpool, its co-founder, Mark Hanna, and the chief operating officer, Bob Barbieri. Welcome, gentlemen.
Hello, and thank you all. Thank you, Anna, for the introduction. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We are OM Holdings, and on our short time together, I hope to deliver at least a high-level understanding of who we are, what we're doing, and where we're going. First, I'll start with our safe harbor lease. All of our statements are in compliance with the SEC Security Acts of both 1933 and 34, and you may read this, but we stay in compliance with all SEC guidelines. So we're OM Holdings, and what does that mean? So our focus is to sharply aim at digitizing the delivery of goods and services throughout the Caribbean basin. And what exactly that means is it's two very, very strong components. One is from the goods standpoint, the OneMart brand in the Caribbean is a highly profitable grocery and builder supply brand anchored in the British Virgin Isles. And that is a key foundation to OM Holdings. The second is Rydium, which is a technology stack and a technology organization that when combined leaves us with a very, very powerful opportunity to digitize that type of business through that. And I'll explain exactly what that means in a few slides. So why would we do this? Why consider this? First, it is not digitized today, but the opportunity is tremendous. There's $400 billion of GDP in the Caribbean, and that is 2019 and growing. Food and merchandise alone is almost $5 billion. So again, very, very powerful opportunities for us to both help the population there and help speed the transfer of goods and services throughout that region, all creating tremendous value. So why does the opportunity exist? Well, we have on mainland U.S. and in other major countries, we have a commonplace set of applications that we take for granted. We ride, if we need a ride, we can basically do Uber or Lyft. We could order goods. We may have a grocery delivery service. We may have a hot meal delivery service. None of that exists in the Caribbean basin for a variety of reasons. And, so why doesn't it? One is you have cultural differences. You have infrastructure that is different location by location, like by location. So as we dictate or kind of annotate here, we have 28 different cultures. We have 43 million people, all with a variety of differences. Each of these islands have their own set of economies and dynamics, unique histories, unique laws, and even language barriers. So it has yet to be digitized. So how can it be? We have a very good proxy around the other side of the globe. Indonesia faced, and the set of islands there faced a very, very similar problem. And an organization called Gojek did exactly this there. So they blended the cultures. They created a digitized application to do exactly this. And that organization's valuation is in excess of $10 billion today. So it shows you it can be done, and it's very valuable once it is done. This is our approach. Our approach is to be very, very sequential and strategically planful in moving this. So OneMart, which I mentioned, which is the foundation for physical locations that sell various goods. We have a couple of pictures to the right. They're maybe small, but for people interested, we can get you more, is we have a very, very high quality that customers are passionate about offerings on the higher end grocery business, and we're building those out. on the left side of the screen, what you see is how we thought through the location by location sequence that makes both customer sense and for us economic sense to how we build out. So that is kind of our thought is to be very, very prescriptive and strategic in how we build these locations and how we execute our strategy. So this is what it looks like built out across British Virgin Isles. So when we take what I just showed you, which was the store by store by store location, what does it look like as we complete it? It looks like this. Now, all of these locations were picked not only for where it would make most economic sense, best benefit the people there, but also sequenced in a way that made the most sense for us strategically. So we're building from strength. And then as we digitize it, all of these not only provide goods and services in a physical location, they also become distribution hubs as we digitize and as things are delivered directly to consumers in those locations as well. Another example of taking advantage of the market is we saw a really strong market opportunity in home goods. So it's lumber, building supplies, a variety of things, home appliances, tools, cement products, paint, plumbing supplies, to contractors, to builders, and to homeowners. And when thinking through that, we said this region needs this. So we're late stage completing a Home Depot-like location there called Home Builders Depot. It won't be the last, but it'll be a foundation for us. But again, this acts as both a physical location to get those goods, but also can and will be a distribution point and a hub for our delivery practice through this region. So thinking larger and where are we going through the entire Caribbean, and I'll talk a little bit in a moment about our application. But the application is called Do Get Go. And what this is a glue that I'll describe. It's a digital glue that we will have on our smartphones and our smart devices that will power the e-commerce through the whole Caribbean. So just as I showed you how we're doing this in the British Virgin Isles, if you look across the Caribbean basin and you look at this mapping, that is exactly how we will build out, both from the physical locations with the One Mart designation, as well as the technology that Rydium brings as we merge this together. So we will be offering everything from rides, various delivery services, getting products to the people where they need them, when they need them, and a variety of services through other parties. So this is not only limited to our own offerings, it'll also be allowed to be accessed through other people providing services for the good of the local communities. And we already started. So we have an app and we've begun implementing this in Montego Bay, Jamaica. It'll be spread through Jamaica. We have an arrangement with the Jamaica Union Travelers Association, and they have 70% of the Jamaican taxi market. So by the end of next year, we will have 90% of their drivers on this. That will be close to well in excess of 10,000 drivers. And just the revenue opportunity of the fees from doing this as one-stop shopping. So you go to Do Get Go, basically you get your taxi when you want it, where you want it. That's another source of about $18 million just in Jamaica. But this concept, again, we will spread this beyond just this Jamaica platform through the entire Caribbean basin. So others, and why isn't it more commonplace? Well, we talked about the geographical and the other barriers to entry that some of these other names. So if you're in mainland US and you're watching this, you probably have done all of these. You probably have had Uber and Lyft for a ride. You probably had hot meals delivered to your home. You might have ordered, and I'm sure you certainly have ordered things through Amazon. And then you've had grocery delivery, both through these types of applications here, as well as large food chains like Kroger and Safeway and others that have those types of things. But they're all different and they're fragmented. So to bring them to the Caribbean is very, very difficult. We do believe that we need a single service model that is a glue that pulls all this together. And that's exactly what we're building. So we're going to be successful because our start is already in place. So Mark Vanderpool, who's on the call today, he has already built out OneMart as a major brand, major retail and wholesale operator in the British Virgin Isles. As we stand today and inside of this organization, we're approaching $30 million of revenue. It's profitable, it's cash generating. And with that is we have on the ground, in the market knowledge of how things work in the Caribbean. So we're not flying in from another geo or trying to do this from a tech center somewhere in the US. This is deep experience through that, and it's been profitable. It's been very well received. Our margins are higher than the space, as well as our customer loyalty and our customer measures have been very high. So it is very, very positively received. And this, when you have that knowledge and you start from that, then you recreate it elsewhere, and then you recreate it through the digital tools. So what do we sell? We sell groceries, we sell home goods, furniture, appliance, building supplies, food and beverage. So all of these things are what's going to be the future, but not only in a physical way, but also in a digital way. So we're kind of bringing all of this to the Caribbean basin as it's needed and wanted there. So the fragmentation, again, I'm just reiterating here, it really hasn't worked. So in the Caribbean, only because it's too disjointed. So we believe what we're on to is the holy grail of this technology that will be expanding continually the local business to consumer services. So what's the future uses? Again, I mentioned it, and it's important because this is what the app is, Do Get Go. So when you open that app, you're going to connect with not only our products and services, but also local businesses. Once we have this through each of these regions, we will invite other businesses to sell their services or their goods through them, much in the same way Amazon collects the goods from a variety of small retailers are inside of their network. But we're going to do it throughout the Caribbean with the barriers to entry and the in-market knowledge that we bring. So this is how we scale. So we, just to look at some of our execution in terms of strategy. So you have OneMart, which is the foundation at the bottom of this, rolled into Rydium, rolled all together into OM Holdings. Many of these, and again, this is kind of an overview, so we can go into details at later stages for whoever may be interested, is we've done these things and we're actually implementing certain things right now as we speak. And then as we head into 2022, we have more activities that will be executed, and this will continue. So again, you have a very focused organization that's sequencing its strategy and its rollout through the Caribbean. So how does it work? So we tried to put this together as a schematic from one app on a smart device, smartphone. We're basically going to provide our own goods and services. Other vendors, they can onboard and provide theirs. Customers will go in, they'll log in. What do I need? When do I need it? Where do I need it? And well as we will have contactless payment. So it'll all be executed all through the app. Customers get the goods and services at the agreed upon time where they want it. It's a variety of services too. It's not just what we offer. It could be medical services. It could be plumbers. It could be other handymen and other things. It could be a variety of delivery, hot foods, hot meals, but grocery. It could be liquor. It could be other things that we may need. And it could be a variety of other products that are very important too. So whether it's clothing, whether it's building materials, whether it are things that you kind of may need, one-stop shop, it shows up at your doorstep. And also, most importantly, it's also rides. So we'll provide taxi service, car rentals, and other rideshare capabilities through this app. And that's very important to this community because it's really been left out of the digitization that's taken place in the US and select other large countries. So why does it work from a leadership standpoint? I mean, it's a great combination of people that have been put together. I mentioned Mark Vanderpool on a couple of occasions. This is important because as our CEO and chairman, Mark has built OneMart and knows this area. He's known his success and he's known the challenges, and he's brought great customer satisfaction and high margin and a lot of success in this. So he knows the players, he knows the culture, he knows how to get it done from the ground up. This isn't a technical or an idea that was founded from someone kind of in a tech center. And then the other folks on this team, and as we build out the team going forward, have all taken different technology companies and financed them and scaled them and grew them and operated them in a way that found very, very large successes in other settings. So the whole blending of this team, the goal is to provide that scale to this or the Caribbean basin in a way that all of those wins and all of that collective experience could be put to this task, which is both an enormous one, but an incredibly powerful one that has a great opportunity set with it. So thinking through, one of the things that is very important for businesses to sustain and grow is that you have a profitable model. And both the OneMart goods side of this business and then combined with the technology that Rydium provides are high margin, very attractive businesses that are already built and they're already profitable. And there's a lot of know-how in the model today. It's not learning in the future, it's learning today. And if you look at the right-hand side of the graphic, you see right now the start being largely goods and services, but then you see that dark layer at the top of each of those bars when you add on the layer of the technology component to this revenue stack. Very, very fast growing and a great blend of both physical goods and services provided as well as technology provided. So what does this add into? Well, it adds into, when you look at this revenue stack of how we anticipate the next 5 years, what you're looking at is a 500% growth in only 5 years. Not many opportunities, and it's going to continue after that. It's a very, very healthy ramp. As I mentioned before, our revenue is approaching 30 million. In 2026, which will be here before too long, it's only 5 years, over 159 million and continuing. So a very strong, very powerful ramp, all profitable, all cash generating. So let me summarize and then I'll turn to questions. We have access within this company to be the leading Caribbean source of the goods and services to this region. We are right there. There's always competition, but we do not have a gorilla to beat. We will become the gorilla. We have an experienced management team with history in each of the components that's going to make this a success. OneMart, which is the foundation of this, has been a solid grower since the mid-'80s, and in the last 10 years has EBITDA of over $1 million every single year. And so everything we do, and then in terms of kind of valuations of how we think about it, ride-hailing companies right now have a price-to-revenue ratio of about 9.5. If you apply that just to what we'll do in Jamaica, that would be a market cap just for that slice of 160 million. And this on-demand mobile platform is going to position us to grow in Jamaica, further showcase what we're doing, and then attract a variety of commercial partners all the way through the Caribbean islands. So obviously we're excited, and hopefully we make a lot of friends along the journey. So with that in mind, I'd like to pause and see if there's any questions for the audience.
Thank you, gentlemen, for this presentation. We do have quite a few questions for you. Let's jump right in. David Cook is asking, have you considered recycled plastic lumber as a building material offering?
Mark Vanterpool, perhaps. Mark, are you muted?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're good now.
Yeah, no, that's a very good question and a very interesting concept that we are very, very much interested in. And in fact, we in the BVI have started using some of that, especially on plastic lumber out on patios and so on. So that is a very attractive item in the Caribbean, and we would be very interested in continuing to pursue that angle.
Good to know. All right, we have a question from Richard Handke. What are your plans to uplist beyond OTC Pink? Are you currently audited? And if so, who's the auditor? And if not, do you plan to become audited and uplist to the QB or higher?
Michael?
Yes,
Michael.
we're currently in the process of looking into uplisting, and the numbers are audited. I have a hard time pronouncing the name of the auditor, so perhaps Mark would like to state their name. It's in our filings.
Okay. We have a question from Michael Porter. He's asking, when will the company see revenues from the Rydium operation? I hope I pronounced that correctly.
Yeah, Michael Porter actually had to run into another call. The projected revenue for Rydium is going to be contingent on the ramp up, and the testing has just begun. As previously stated, we're expecting to hit some serious penetration by the end of next year, but I can't speak to the trajectory of that growth.
Okay. Rick Eaton asks, he says, your receivables are up almost 100% over August 2020. Is there any issue collecting?
Mark Vanterpool, can you take that?
I can answer that. Yeah, I can take that. Thank you very much. Our receivables, obviously, everyone has been impacted by the COVID-19 period. And a big part of our business is service to restaurants and connected with tourists. So that is part of why our receivables increased. But most of our receivables are within a reasonably short time. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic and shortage of tourism in the Virgin Islands, we have kept and maintained our sales levels. However, persons are a little slow in paying, but we don't have any major concerns with our receivables.
Another question from Michael Porter. Similar, are you seeing slowdown from raw materials shipping into the Caribbean?
Actually, let's turn that over to Mark Vanterpool. He'd be best to answer that.
Yeah, fortunately for us, so far we haven't seen a major slowdown. Most of our raw materials that come into the Caribbean come out of Louisiana, the Miami area, parts from Central and South America. We haven't seen any. We have been warned a bit. At one point earlier in the year, prices went up because of shortages, but we are seeing a projection right now that it's getting better, hopefully by the end of the year. But I don't know what the new COVID uptick throughout the world will cause, but we haven't had any major impact of it so far.
Prit Rogers is asking, you're trading at about 10 times sale. Is this about standard in your space, or do you consider the company undervalued?
I'm happy to speak to that. You'll notice that the valuation of the company is fluctuated a lot since it went public, and we've only started telling the world what OM is about. As Bob said, when you factor in the revenue from Rydium, and you look at the other ride-hailing companies in the space, that certainly would indicate that the stock is undervalued. And it may just simply be a symptom of still being on the pink and not having more liquidity yet. But I think when you combine the growth that we're expecting from the Walmart stores along with Rydium, it's easy to make a case for the shares being undervalued.
Okay. Grayson Brandt asks, which divisions are the most profitable and offer the most growth opportunity?
That's an interesting question, because you can look at it from gross margin, EBITDA margin, or net. Now, certainly, the wholesale has been profitable on the gross margin side, more so than the retail. When the technology revenue begins, those margins will be superior to the goods side of the operation. That thoroughly answer it?
I think so. I think so. We have some questions about expanding. Jason Redmond wants to know, do you have plans to expand laterally? And if so, where? What about vertically with new products, services? Talk about that a little bit, please.
I'm happy to, unless Mark, you'd like to.
Yeah, I'll chip in a bit and say yes. Yes, we're expanding into a number of new stores. We're working towards a very heavy market penetration in the British Virgin Islands and moving out to other Caribbean islands. So yes, we're going to expand laterally. We are expanding also in the product lines. You have to think of us similar to what would be a sort of Walmart stroke, a Costco or Sam's kind of deal, where we're expanding. For example, we are going more into the sort of perfumes and so on. What we want to do is meet the customer's needs at every angle, building supplies, whether it's the household items. We do a lot of business right now in furniture and appliances, and so we are going to be looking at what are all the needs that can satisfy a customer, and try to meet those needs in sort of one store. One store meaning physical or virtual. So that's our objective that we're aiming for, and it's moving pretty fast in that direction.
Jordan Sims wants to know that when you take over a new location or build a new one, what businesses do you look at to incorporate into them?
We look at our general business right now is grocery, household items, furniture, and appliances, health and beauty. As we expand, we want to go a little more in incorporation into there. We're going to look at in all of our stores, the Home Depots and so on, building supplies, easy things that can be used by a customer, making a sort of one-stop shop. So yes, we'll incorporate as much into a one-stop shopping as possible. And it's not obviously right now, and we are adopting that to the Caribbean.
Great. Last question. Paul Withrow wants to know where he can access financials.
OTCmarkets.com.
Okay. Since that was short, one last question from Charles Sutera. Is Walmart similar to Walmart in the U.S.?
I know it sounds that way, but and we probably would like to be Walmart in the U.S. And that's the whole idea of the Walmart concept, to become a type of Walmart throughout the Caribbean in the physical sense. virtual through our Do Get Go and our Rydium product to make it more virtual so that people can get deliveries and shop online more and live in that space a lot more than has been the case in the Caribbean. But yes, Walmart, and we know Walmart is also moving that direction where they want to become more online and virtual, but we are moving that direction also through a Do Get Go app that we are developing throughout the Caribbean.
Fantastic. Well, this has been a joy to hear your presentation, and we sure hope that you come back on to our conference again and give us some updates. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you as well. Appreciate it.
All right, everyone, please stay with us. Remember, as we transition to the next presenter, you might see a black screen, but stay with us because we're coming right back with another great company.